Now I want to edit a specific report. First of all, I have to find it, and one of the ways is I can go to the dashboard and just click here on the top of the report, and this will bring me to the report. Another way to find a report is going to the Analyze section, and if I know that the report is about invoices, I can go to the invoice queue and let's say use the search function. If I click here, it will open up the report. Now, if I want to copy this report, make a new one, a similar one, I can click Save, and if I make a different name, put in different name, it will create a new report, but with different name already. I can also save this report as private and no one else will be able to see it. If I want to rename a specific report, not create a new one, I have to go and click here and then select rename. My special. And now we have a new report that is saved as private and we just renamed it as well. These are different chart type options here available for editing report. And first of all, I want to switch to table view to show you some functionality. And if I click on any of the columns or rows, there are more options available, for example, like cell formatting. I can add conditions for filtering out, for formatting different rows. And let's say rows that have 2000 to 3000 item quantity, I want to see the text to be in black, the background to be green, and I want it bold. If I apply it, we can see that these two rows are now formatted. I can also order, I can select this ascending order, and now it's all ordered. If I want to filter out specific values, I can do that by selecting one of the filter options. For example, I don't want to see those 2000 ones, I want to see only those ones that are bigger than 3000. If I select it now, it only selects those months that have more than 3000 item quantity. And if I want to go further than that, I can also select top rows. For example, I can select top 5. Now I have top 5 item months that have the most item quantity. And we can see all the filters that I added right here on the top. Let's remove this one. And now we have months item quantity that is bigger than 3000. There is also an option for time filtering. If I click on any of the months, and you can see I can select filter, time, and we usually select the recommended selection is between. I know that on top here we have one made already that filters time between 12 months ago and today. And if I click on it, I can edit the same way. Let's say I want to have it 13 months instead of 12, and now let's see, April is added. To know more about how to write these selections of time, there's a documentation link and page available here. If you click on it, you can go and check it out. Let's go back to the report. Let's switch now to the some chart type. And before we had line and it was set up, and let's go to bar type and try to set it up again. First of all, I want to see it vertical, so there's option available here for that. I click vertical and it switches around. Now I see that the item quantity does not really go together with item base amount or gross profit, so I want to have a separate axis for that. So I click on the color right here, choose separate axis 1, and you can see that we have a separate axis for that. If I know this is a special measure, so I want to have also a different type for that. And let's select area, for example. And if you want to know more about the types, I would recommend going to your account and trying all the options out. And let's say I don't want this to be on top of the item base amount, so I will switch back to table view. I will drag and drop this to the back, and if I go back to the bar chart view, I can see that it's in background now. The same way I could change colors, like for example I can do this color and it changes. And I also want to see data labels, and I can enable this option, and this will add data labels for um, all of the measures. If I want to have specific data labels for each and every one, I can change the setting on them. For example, I want to have rotated for this one, and this item quantity I want to have horizontal, right? So it doesn't match up. I don't want for this one, I want this label, so now I have data labels for item quantity and I have from gross profit. There's also some specific options available for each of the chart types. For example, I can get it stacked. And like I said, I would recommend you to go into the your account and trying all the options out yourself. You can also change font size, for example, if you want to put the dashboards on some screens, so on. There's line option available, chart type available, pie, and so on. And I want to talk a little bit of gauge, and let's set this up a little bit. First of all, I want the gauge to be only about one measure, so I will go ahead and remove the item quantity here, and you can do the same if you're in the table view. I can remove here as well. If I go here, then we can see that there's nothing much showing up. That's because we don't have set up the gauge limits. If I click here on gauge limits, I can specify what color to show for what data range. For example, I want to have from 10,000 to 2,000 to have it red. Let's add another limit to 30,000. It's going to be green. Let's add another limit, 40,000 to black. If I apply it, you see it's all changed. It goes from 10,000 all the way up to 40,000.